up to them.
Okay.
We don't really have a whole lot of say.
Well, my understanding, once she signed her name on the ticket, she can't go back on that. She can't go and make corrections. Well, at least she couldn't make those corrections verbally to me when I spoke to her on the phone. But she's allowed to do so, change the location, what she put as South Junction instead of North Junction. So if she's allowed to modify that, so should I.
And that'll just have to be handled through the court process.
Okay.
So when you do show up to court, basically what they're going to say is, do you want to plead not guilty, guilty, or no contest? And when you plead not guilty, that would lead into a trial to where you can actually speak with the judge about the incident.
Okay.
And that's, from what it sounds like, that's what you're trying to get at.
Like I say, I'm not denying what happened. The time of day and everything, all the blockage by the coffee trader and so on and so forth. You can't unscramble scrambled eggs. So I am taking responsibility for my actions. So that's where I'm at right now. Whether I plead no contest to this or try to fight you guys in court, and it was costing me a ton of money.
And you represent yourself in the city court.
Okay.
I mean, you can have an attorney if you'd like, but you don't have one. We don't get one. It's just us there with you. So it doesn't cost you anything.
And I don't want to get into a big discussion about bicycle safety and what's going on in this town in regards to pedestrians and so on and so forth, in regards to violating the law. But there's got to be a happy medium between people who work to do their job of doing food delivery, that should feel safe enough to do their job without all these different things happening, like pedestrians walking against it, walking in the streets, and you got bicycles on the sidewalk going different directions, all different things. I mean, where does the driver land? Who's got more say so in the matter? Whose rights trump other people's rights? The rights of the motorist and the rights of the pedestrian. Understand?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It makes it hard when, my head is always on a pivot trying to make sure that scenario didn't take place. And it took place. And now I'm having to face that head on. You know what I mean? And it's scary. And I don't want to lose my job over this as well. Yeah. And I definitely don't want to drag my employer into this as well. Because it's a big company.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like what it needs to happen is just going through the courts and kind of plead your case of what's going on.
Well, that's why I record, sir, because I want to be completely transparent with you in what happened. And I don't think that even if I spoke to Officer Baca the way I'm speaking to you, that I would get the same correspondence that I'm getting from you guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, because not to say that she's hiding anything, but I don't feel she's being 100% transparent. Being that there's other circumstances involved that she overlooked, she just basically focused on me as the driver. She didn't, time of day, the blockage over by the coffee trader, the bicycle going the wrong direction on the road without reflective gear, helmet, light, front or back.
Well, I would definitely consider that a defense to the case.
Yeah.
But like Officer Gibbs is saying, that would have to be fought in court.
Okay.
And then when they'll ask you, what do you plea? If you say not guilty, they won't have your trial right there. They'll set it out. So if that's what you're talking about with the continuance, they'll set it out for a couple weeks after that, just so everybody can get prepared. And I know that trial is intimidating, but like I said, she wrote it to the city.
Yeah.
It was a municipal citation.
Yeah. Well,
right?
it's a 4-point point deduction and $110 fine. I have no problem with the $110 fine, but it's the points that I am concerned about, and it's the repercussions that could happen at my employer as well.
Yeah. Well, you drive for a living, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
it makes it hard when, in my opinion, I see the lack of enforcement of these areas that we discussed about the pedestrian and the bicyclist, crossing Main Street, against the crosswalks. I in fact have footage of over by the Horsefly where I was testing the crosswalks there, and I almost got hit by a car. And I'm standing in the crosswalk, whether it's a lit crosswalk or the one by the horsefly. So, and I realize you guys can't be everywhere all the time. But if you guys are going to put those things in place, then I expect, it to be enforced, because otherwise, open up the road again to 2 lanes the way it was before, so we can get some traffic flow. Okay. In regards to the pedestrian crossing the roadway, do we need to have some type of barrier, fence, and only open to the crosswalks in order to prevent people from crossing back and forth, jaywalking as well? I know that doesn't sound, it doesn't make it look real good for the city to have a big fence running down the middle of the roadway, but where are the rights to the driver in that situation? We have the right to travel down the roadway without being, people walking out in front of us trying to get to the bar or trying to get to the liquor store. You know what I mean?